I was invited by the South African churches to come for a Lenten period and forge new relationships between those churches and our churches back in the U.S. And I had to be snuck in the country because I was on the security list. I was supposed to meet him at his cathedral, St. George's Cathedral in Cape Town. Beautiful. Not a big cathedral, but it's a beautiful cathedral. And a rally had been called and canceled. And when I got there, it was surrounded, hundreds of military police, hundreds surrounding the cathedral. And I somehow got through them and sat with my friends. And here's Bishop Tutu, little man, long flowing robes, looking like Yoda, and he behind the pulpit, and he begins to speak in the service. They're having church instead of the rally. And the front doors of his cathedral get broken into by South African security police, who are just thugs. They line the walls of his cathedral with tape recorders and notepads in their hands, as if to say, you just got out of prison. Go ahead, be prophetic, be bold. We'll put you right back there. It's my first day of many times later in South Africa. But I felt like they were saying, we own this country. We own this church. We own you. We own your God. He stopped talking, put his head down as if in prayer. And we're now surrounded on the inside and the outside of this cathedral, wondering what in the world is he going to say and do. Long silence. Then he looks up and he smiles that signature Desmond Tutu smile. He looks at them. You are powerful, very powerful, but you're not God's. And I serve a God who will not be mocked. Then he began dancing like a good Black Baptist preacher. He says, so, since you have already lost, we invite you today to come and join the winning side. And
wow.
then people leapt up and they danced this dance. And we danced out with them. And all of a sudden, here's these military police, didn't know what to do with dancing worshipers who weren't afraid of them.
Yeah, right.
And what I learned from that, my trajectory, remember the trajectory of our politics, is fear, hate, and violence. And the trajectory we have as people of faith goes something like this. It's faith that inspires the hope, that creates the action that makes for change.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, I'm back at the inauguration of Nelson Mandela, and guess who is the master of ceremonies? Bishop Desmond Tutu.
Amazing.
And I smiled. Bishop, do you remember that day at St. George's? He smiled. He did. And I recalled on that day, 150,000 of us hearing Nelson Mandela announce the birth of this new democracy. And I realized we weren't, as people of faith, most needed at, let's call it the party, the celebration. We're needed back at St. George's when you feel surrounded and can only see the party, the celebration, the victory through the eyes of faith. So that's our particular role as people of faith. Even when there isn't much reason for optimism, we make hope the choice. And he did that again and again and again.